Hi, everyone. I'm Danielle Valentine, Managing Editor of Foreword Reviews, and this is another of our Petit Forewords, bite-sized interviews with indie authors. Today, we are sitting down with Elizabeth Gray, author and illustrator of The Happy Homebody, a field guide to the great indoors. So, Elizabeth, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So you mentioned in the author's note at the beginning of your book that you were actually conceptualizing it a few months before the pandemic hit. And that really surprised me because I just assumed that the concept had sprung out of lockdowns and quarantines. So if not from that, where did your inspiration come from?
And I'm glad you brought that up because that is why I put the note in there, because I assumed after everything that, we've been through for the past 2 years, that's what a lot of people would think that this came from. But as I've put on my Instagram before, I was a homebody before it was cool, or I guess, necessary. But this is something that has sort of defined my online brand, as it were, for the past couple of years. So I wanted to make sure to put that out there.
So once we were in a pandemic and everyone became something of a homebody, how did that change the concept or process for you for creating this book and putting it into this brand new world?
I think it gave me not only more time to sit down and create the book, but to gather inspiration from what everyone else was doing during the pandemic as well, because I'm used to, my view on my homebody life. But it was cool to see what everyone else was doing and how everyone else was taking the sort of forced isolation. And it was interesting how I feel like it changed a little bit of my perspective on being a homebody, because it's one thing to choose not to go out, but to not have the choice to not go out is a whole other thing.
Yeah, and I think we all struggle with. I'm, a big introvert homebody myself, but suddenly when you can't, you want to.
Exactly.
So your book is split into 7 distinct sections. We have dream, savor, play, make, study, chill, and care. And this covers everything from recipes to typography. You have, guides in there on doing some of the awesome lettering that you've included. You even have a morning coffee playlist provided for everyone. So how did you settle on that structure and those categories?
That was something me and my editor, Lindsay, talked about quite a bit, because when we were talking about the concept for the book and what sort of, made sense for what I was already known for, we settled on, not a lettering book per se, because there are already a lot of those, but something that's a little different, a homebody book. So we were talking about everything we wanted to include in the book, how we wanted it to feel, kind of like you're sitting down with a close friend, having a conversation. You can enjoy it all at once if you want to, or just a page at a time as you feel like it. So again, when we were talking about everything we wanted to include, and we sort of separated it out, and those chapters just sort of made sense.
So you are, as I mentioned earlier, both the author and illustrator of this text. And some of those illustrations, I wish my conscience would allow me to pop them out of the book and put them on my wall. So is there anywhere, without having to defile a book, that we could find some of your work to improve our happy homes?
Absolutely. I am working on translating some of the book's content into prints. Also, if you want to request a specific spread or something, you can always email me. But the best place to find shoppable goods would be my website.
All right, and do you have anything else in the works right now, or any upcoming conventions, virtual or otherwise, where we might see you?
Not at the moment, but if anyone's watching and they want me to participate, you know where to find me.
It was great talking to you, and we look forward to whatever comes next from you.
Thanks. I appreciate it.